Hello, hello, hello. I have a putty. This is a putty that I mixed myself from different putties. And I made a video about that mixing process a long time ago on my channel Nikki Loves Dogs. And the video is there. It's a real interesting video. All these different putties mixed. They didn't want to mix in the beginning. And it looked like a fried egg and a little bit like an ET and ET DNA mixing together. So in this video I want to talk about drug addicts because I woke up today thinking about people that are drug addicts, and I have seen a lot of people in my life. I wasn't close friends with them. I just met them through other people, and I saw right away what's going on with them. And my intuition told me to stay away because what I saw was not the drug addiction, like a distinct information that was coming across to me, but what I saw was people that had no boundaries, that had no healthy sense of creating a very distinct boundary line around them. In the boundary line that we create around us when we are psychologically well. The boundary line is a protection barrier around us. And we don't allow someone to cross that line. The drug addicts didn't have that. Not because they were drug addicts, but they were drug addicts because they didn't have that boundary line. Which is it's a causal effect. They were damaged during childhood. Mother was not there, did not give unconditional love, didn't give the cuddling, didn't give the loving, the kissing, didn't give the assurance, you are my baby, I am protecting you from everything no matter what. Didn't get that, okay? I didn't get that either. So I'll explain in a minute why I did not become a drug addict. So these people were not able to create a healthy sense of, this is me, my precious vessel, me, my precious body, and I'm protecting this precious body. I'm creating a healthy boundary line around me. They were not able to do this because they didn't get the unconditional love during early childhood. That's the most critical phase, from birth to age 5 or at least to age 3. That's the most critical. My husband got that from his mother during the most critical. After that, it was problematic for him. Okay, there were many things that were traumatic, but at least he had these first 3 years of a fully loving mother. That's very rare, actually, very rare to find. So this 100% unconditionally loving mother. So the majority of humans in the world has been badly traumatized during early infancy because they didn't get that unconditional love. And the majority of them will pass that on to their children because they are completely unconscious about it themselves. Okay, so that's what happens. And then when someone is so badly damaged, a lot of those people that are not able to create, to funnel that into anger. There are people that funnel it into anger and it becomes a problem, okay, where it goes overboard. Then there are people that funnel it into an anger where they become extremely self-protective, but out of an angry state, which is also not a balanced state, but that angry state saved their lives, and that's what happened to me. Okay, so there's also the genetic factor, which is very, very strong, of course. There's an epigenetic factor in it. There's a genetic factor that also gives a variation of epigenetic probabilities, of course. This is very convoluted, actually. It's very complex, biologically complex. Okay? But one thing is for sure, one thing that we don't need to be biologists and scientists to figure these things out, to make inferences from A to B. Okay? Is the fact that all mammals, okay, and many other types of animals need this love, this unconditional love during infancy. Okay. And when that's not there, there will be a whole range of horrific problems that will arise out of that, cascade out of that, out of that domino effect. Okay, so it's just a range of cause and effect that will cascade out of this from one thing to the next. And when people get into drugs, and that's usually those people that don't have the anger, never were able to create boundaries, and the suffering is so unimaginable. The suffering, the pain of that emotional trauma of this, the lack of love is so unimaginably horrible, and yet it is so elusive, and it is so pressing and boring, and that's where the word boring comes from. Something is boring. Why is this non-activity so boring? We need to ask that question. Why? Maybe I'll make part 2 for this year. I make all of this into the same name, but I will, maybe tomorrow, if I have time, I will talk more about this, because this is a real serious subject. I can only make 15-minute videos right now. So, but why is something that is tedious, or that is monotonous, or where there's not something stimulating very much the nerves, something, why is this apparent non-action, non-activity perceived as boring? And what bores underneath? What is starting to bore itself up? What corkscrew is boring itself up from the bottom up? Okay, and that what's boring up is that dull, elusive, no-name type of pain. This pain that is, it's sort of like a negative pain. it's like a negative in terms of you can't put your finger on it. You don't know really what it is. You don't even have a clue where this comes from. Okay? It's just this real pressing dull pain that comes from the bottom. You don't know where it comes. You just want to numb it up. You want to, or numb it down. You want to take something to cover that up. People do all kinds of things to cover that up. So, and after the papa died, there were moments where I had to take ibuprofen. It was that bad. It was so bad. I was on the couch screaming. It was so bad. It was so unbearable. Losing the papa, for me, was Armageddon. It was the end of the world. So it was just for the last couple of days that I'm starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. So I know, and I've been through unimaginable pain, different types of pain and sources of pain, emotional pain, my whole life. And all of this intensity, not the grief part. The grief part is natural mother instinct grief, pain. But the pain part of, where the boring stuff comes up, where it just didn't even know what it is. Didn't even know I needed physical touch, then society mixes that up and puts that into the category of romance, which has nothing to do with that. Okay, we need non-sexual physical touch. Okay, that's what every living being needs. And if we get that, it wouldn't matter how old someone is. There could be an 80-year-old man, never had that love as a child, never later in life. It was only these casual one-night stands that wasn't that what he really needed, So, and then let's say suddenly he gets that unconditional love through some miracle. And guess what happens? His brain goes back through the entire 80 years. From one instance to the next, from one pain to the next that was triggered in the present time but really caused by the past, and then goes all the way back to the past. And then he's able to suddenly cry and really feel all of this. So that's the psychoanalytical regression system that needs to happen, this regression process that needs to happen. And we can also take that back further past this lifetime's existence. But we need to start with this. So we need to start with this lifetime, of course. That's where we start. That's where we are at. And we need to work our way through. And we can do this very gradually. And drugs, it's a very important message, Drugs are never any option. It is never an option. Drugs are never an option. Okay? So I want to make this very, very clear. I'm running out of my time now. And alcohol is no option. Absolutely none. Okay? I will get more into it in my future videos. Okay? You guys take care.